group of licensees, and his saying was, well, if he saw a competitor drowning, he'd grab a hose and help him.
Under Kroc's leadership, the business quickly expanded to 228 stands. Always on the lookout for ways to streamline operations and boost profits, Kroc did not always see eye to eye with the founding fathers of fast food.
Ray Kroc could not make any changes or add anything to the menu unless he had approval of the McDonald brothers, which was fine. It was a big problem there was, and Ray complained about this bitterly, he would call Mac and Dick on the phone and say, Dick, we want to use such and such Dixie cup now, or malt cup. Is that all right? Oh, sure, go ahead. Say, well, will you put it in writing? Send me a letter on it, so I have it in writing. Oh, that's all right. You don't have to bother with that. Well, Kroc's lawyer would say, hey, wait a minute, you're in violation of the franchise right there if you do it. And so Ray would have to call, hey, let me have a letter. So, well, they would never do it.
For their interest in McDonald's, Ray Kroc paid the brothers a total of $2.7 million. But that did not end the conflict.
Ray said that he understood that the existing McDonald's operation San Bernardino would be part of the package. And after the deal was done, the Mac brothers said, no, you don't get that store. That's our baby. And we're going to keep it. Well, that's when Ray made this statement to me.
And that was?
I'm not a vindictive sort of person, but I'm going to get those sons of bitches.
Ray Kroc forced the brothers to take down the sign over their original San Bernardino restaurant, which then became known as the Big M. Dick and Mac McDonald took the money they got from Kroc, bought a pair of brand new Cadillacs, and retired to their native New Hampshire.
I have been asked, do I have any regrets about selling out and so forth? And my answer is definitely no, because if we had continued, I would probably end up in a skyscraper somewhere and have about 14 accountants and 2 tax attorneys trying to save on income tax, and all for what? And I have a little strange philosophy too. I believe we're on this earth a rather short time, and I would say to anybody, have a little fun. Have a little fun while you're on this earth, and don't just let money be the thing that's predominant in your thinking all the time.
Dick and Mac McDonald could hardly have foreseen the influence their modest burger stand in San Bernardino would have on America's eating habits. Ray Kroc went on to make McDonald's the largest food service conglomerate in the world, with over 20,000 outlets in 101 countries. The Golden Arches came to symbolize the pioneering spirit of the new American entrepreneur and the nation's need for speed. But the hallmark of the 50s was a machine that moved and defined a uniquely American style.
I've never enjoyed a modeling job as much as this one.
In post-war America, where jobs were plentiful and incomes rose steadily, cars became status symbols, machines that got you where you wanted to go, and boasted about how well you were doing along the way.
I feel like I'm in the lap of luxury.
In a way, it was a wonderful, naive time because people were very accepting and very ready for something new. And unfortunately, when the war stopped, most of the cars just were the warmed over 1942 models, and that was okay. That got them into a car, but not what they were really looking for. They were looking for something that was on that Popular Science cover.
Hey, I wonder what we'd hear if I'd turn on the switch and we're driving along in 1976. Hello, Tower. This is Firebird 2304.
The automobile was the quintessential dream machine. cars were a perfect way for Americans to define themselves because they answered a fundamental American need, which is to move. I mean, with an automobile, whenever you wanted to get in your car, you could get in it and go wherever you wanted to go. And that sense of freedom is something that I think we Americans not only feel is a birthright, but I think have always been very proud of and very, very reluctant to give up.
Boom, boom, boom. But my real name is Mr.
Harley Earl was the man who turned American cars into dream machines. As a young man, Earl had designed custom car bodies for Hollywood celebrities. When he moved to General Motors in Detroit, he became America's most influential designer.
Ban roll-on deodorant was a Harley Earl idea. We take it for granted now, but the idea of roll-on deodorant was something that he came up with. Orange Naugahyde, which again we sort of take for granted as an element of the 1950s. It was a Harley Earl idea too.
The styling job is a job for today, but its essence is forecasting, the scientific anticipation of the whims and needs and preferences of GM customers tomorrow. Behind the scenes,
at one time, engineers ran GM. Now they took a back seat to Harley Earl's styling department.
Unhampered by deadlines and divisional dictates. Here, the motor car stylist does the equivalent of pure research in the field of applied money-making art.
The first idea of an automotive styling studio was invented by Harley Earl and GM going back before the 50s. He was so powerful that he said, Chevrolet, that's your style, and Pontiac, that's yours, and Olds, that's yours, and so forth. He ran the styling roost with an iron hand. He had the power given to him by the boss, and he exercised it with great flamboyance.
The dawning of the jet age inspired Harley Earl. He named his revolutionary dream car the LeSabre, after a jet fighter.
Nobody went out and took a survey or asked people what they wanted to have next year. Harley Earl didn't believe in it. He sensed what they liked now. He sensed what was going on, and then he gave what he thought was the best interpretation of what people would like. He used to use the expression, Hattie Carnegie didn't go around to New York asking ladies which kind of a hat they were going to want next fall. She just showed them what kind of hat they were going to have next fall.
1/2 of all cars sold in the United States were made by GM. Today they have 1/3 of the market, to give you a scale. Which meant they set the standards, they set prices, they set the broadest aspects of styling, like more chrome GM puts on, we put on more chrome. So with half the market dominating the industry by all those price classes, they were what you fought against. They were the 800-pound gorilla.
When he saw that caravan of trucks rolling down the road, Stevie realized the Motorama had come to town. He couldn't...
In the days before television came to dominate the selling of automobiles in America, Earl promoted his styles with a traveling auto show called the Motorama that unveiled both current models and futuristic dream cars.
Some of the things we may enjoy in the world of tomorrow. I knew the Motorama was more than a display of the newest cars, that it's a demonstration of the teamwork of scientists, engineers, and stylists.
The original Corvette, which came out in 1953, was a fascinating example of Harley Earl marketing. The ad said, you don't have to just dream about this car. You can own one today. The Corvette was, in fact, a dream car. It began as a dream car, but they marketed it. And the original Corvette was not tremendously expensive, nor was it even very powerful. And yet, it, like everything else Harley Earl did, had a tremendous amount of sex appeal.
Harley Earl understood that for Americans on the move, sexy also meant new.
The model change was one of those great American events like the World Series. Everybody sat around and waited for it just to see what Detroit would come up with this year. There's something, on the one hand, kind of disgusting about this. Half of the United States standing around worrying about a Detroit car, although it certainly does spotlight the importance of the